I think there's always something going on in my head. It's just figuring out what to commit to, you know? It makes your mind wander, and, you know, it brings you to a place where, you know, you might not have thought about it before. So one thing, working with paint, you never know. You never know. It's, you know, we'll see if my painting turns out correct. I might come home and paint over the whole thing, but it helps me to deal with understanding where I'm going, what I'm doing. Now I got to figure out how that's going to work into the composition of the piece. And so I need to figure out how that's going to work together. And once I have a rough idea of how I'm going to put these pieces together, it'll take me not very long to put it out on a canvas. The planning of a painting for me is the most intense. The painting part is the fun part. The background you always want to do first. And then put on top of it the things that come closest to you. Well, I'm thinking about if I were to include both of these, how I could change it into an abstract piece and how I can move it into more of a representative piece with different elements of Africa. Again, the music really helps me get into the feeling of where I'm trying to represent. To give you a more even surface to work on. And I know what I'm gonna paint. Like, I know the colors I need, I know what I'm aiming for. Because I want this to sort of represent light, that Africa is known for the sunsets, the way the sun is. I'm going to create more of a silhouetted look to this painting than a realistic one. What's going through my head is just sort of like what I should do next, what I should do first, what I should do last, sort of just trying to figure out where the colors that I need and where I'm kind of going with this. I'm thinking about how maybe I'm using the wrong color because Africa is dry, and green represents water, so especially in living things. So maybe this isn't the right color, but I'm gonna go with it for now. I might change. I've never been to Africa, so it's hard to say that I'm there. I'm imagining what it would be like to be there. It's also like my brain is saying, all right, that particular color doesn't look right, or that shape isn't quite right. Like, you know, I'm evaluating the paint. At this point, I wanna just like redo the whole thing. Like, that's where I'm at with it. So my brain is not necessarily focused on what's here, but rather what I want to be here. So like now I'm redoing the whole thing because I wasn't happy with the way that was coming out. So this is one of the major frustrations. I go through a lot of these phases where I don't like what's on the canvas, I do like what's on the canvas, maybe I don't like what's on the canvas. Maybe I should start with a blank canvas, you know. I didn't like it, so I would, instead of planning it out the proper way, I would just paint it and then not like it and then change it. wet paint. So I've decided to start over again. I'm also medicated, so that helps. If I wasn't medicated, it would be really, I have a very hard time functioning without my medication. And you get this sort of texture. In fact, I'm much more confident than I was before about it. The way that I saw it in my head and what I'm doing now are working together. It's sort of like once something clicks, it's there. And you have to take it as it comes. And you can have the greatest of ideas, but unless it's there to access, you're not going to get it. This is a great way for me to deal with like that anticipation and that excitement. I don't think if painting is ever done. I think it's hard to say when something's done, but you have to let it dry before you can continue to work on it, because if I try to just keep going, it's all going to start running into each other. We'll see. No one can tell you what to do and what not to do in art. You know, you're sort of your own boss in that sense. There. That is much better. My signature, my initials. I feel motivated. I feel like I want to go conquer the world. Not always. Sometimes, you know, you get frustrated over a painting and you're like, okay, I need to step away from this for a while and get a better idea of it. I'm content with this for now. I enjoy the process. It takes a lot out of you. And when you start something and you don't know if it's finished, you know, you start to think about it and you're like, I wonder if I'm done. Like, I'm just now thinking off the top of my head, if I add, like I could add like a watering hole down here and just like black or white, I mean, gray, duh. And put like a reflection in, and that might it might enhance it a little bit. But I don't really need it. So.